Welcome to Emotions and Eating with Nicola-beer. Nicola controlled her feelings using food for 25 years, so she knows how draining it is to be constantly thinking about or acting out with food. Thankfully, having made an amazing breakthrough in her recovery, her mission became about helping others escape the unsatisfying cycle of frustration and self-medication with food. Nicola is determined to help you find your inner strength so you can be healthy, gain confidence, feel great, and be at peace with yourself and food.
Hi and welcome, this is Nicola, and it's such an honour to be sharing the topic today about the power of love in changing food behaviour with you. Do you know what I found to be one of the biggest cures of eating disorders and breaking the cycle of frustration and acting out with food? Yes, you may or may not believe it, but it is love. When you feel love, be loving to others and loving to yourself, you attract more love to you. This high vibration of love, you then act out with food less, and you love, value, respect yourself and your body more. Many people know me as a marriage expert that saved thousands of marriages around the world. I have a podcast show called How to Save Your Marriage with Nicola-beer, and I also have a podcast show called Family Relationships with Nicola-beer, both of which have become a massive hit. I realised that when couples I helped to feel love energy like me had their weight drop off and their food behaviours like extreme dieting stop when they tapped into that love. The desire to overeat or undereat vanished because they were at peace. See, love brings inner peace. Judgment had stopped, and because of this they started to see life differently. So I want to talk about welcoming love in. When I welcomed love into my life and focused on being loving, everyone would say I have this glow about me. And it really was a powerful energy that I was transmitting, that people felt it around me. I lost the urge to binge. I was not beating myself up over eating. I wasn't guilting myself into the next diet. It became a key part of the program that I run, the Pure Peace Formula, to help hundreds of people to change their eating habits when they switch from painful emotions to love. As a bonus, their relationships change. Also, things that bother them slip away. I cannot tell you how many emails I receive from men and women saying that they can't believe how much tapping into their love energy actually works. How they thought it was a load of rubbish, but tried it and noticed a massive difference in their love life and food choices. I'll give you an example. When I made the decision to change and I put forth my intention, I started seeing a change immediately. I made sure that I did things that felt good and loving and dealt with anything on my mind before it became big. I was worried about Christmas time because I thought it can be a bit much with my family, and I love them of course, but someone always gets upset and you can never seem to please them. Another person always drinks too much and says hurtful things, and the rest of us, well, we're just all so different. It's 4 generations together, which means that we want to watch different stuff on the TV. It means that we're crammed into a very small room and the conversation is all over the place. And basically, it can be a little uncomfortable. Now, I do love it, but it can be a trigger for me to eat more than I really want to. And even though I do allow myself to let go a little bit at Christmas, sometimes I can literally go way over to the extreme side. As you've heard me share on many podcasts and probably feel like you know me really well by now. Plus, there's all the added hype on the media we hear about how Christmas must be the most joyous day of the year. Expectations are high, so Christmas time can be a huge worry for me when it comes to food. In fact, if I think back to the Christmases before I got free from my eating problem, every year I compulsively eat all day. Non-stop I'm thinking about what to eat next, and it started the moment I woke up. I'd eat chocolate for breakfast and tell myself that it's for nostalgic reasons that I eat chocolate for breakfast, and then carry on binging. Even if I felt sick, I'd carry on and carry on And sometimes I would be sick because I literally had so much in me I couldn't move. After I made a committed decision not to binge, but instead to love myself and love the food that I put into my body, and to love the situation that I am in, and to focus on loving everyone more than ever before, it was the best Christmas I'd ever had. I no longer had to battle with a voice in my head telling me that I was a pig and to stop eating, or making diet threats that I would diet next week. I ate in moderation and didn't think about food in between meals. I was much more interested in my family, and it was the best Christmas I ever had. You see, before I did that, before I tapped into that love energy and focused on having inner peace through Pure Peace formula, what I would be doing at Christmas would be consistently worrying about food, then consistently eating food, not listening to my family because I was thinking about food, getting annoyed about how much I'd eaten, telling myself how I was going to have to correct it the next day or the day after. It was one big headache. The decision to welcome love into my life and to make it my way of living transformed my relationships too. Not only my relationships with food and my body, but my relationship with others. When you feel love, the fears and uncomfortableness that drives you to eat disappear. There is no reason to feel the hole in the heart, or the hole in the soul, as they say, with food, because your heart is full. Does that make sense? When I focused on being love energy and vibrating love energy, the emotional eating, vomiting and restricting stopped. When I became love, I attracted love, happiness and success to me in every area of my life. I got my health back, and I now have so much energy and passion. People everywhere I go tell me that I look amazing and full of life and vitality. And that is obviously because before I was going around thinking about food, drained about either eating so much that I was not sleeping properly because my body was trying to digest a huge amount of food, or I was going to bed after I'd been sick, dehydrated, or I was going to bed having not eaten much and feeling malnourished. So it's obvious to see why people were telling me that I was glowing, but I didn't actually see it at the time. And I have got through tough times since being free of this. I've had a major loss in my family. I've gone through the end of a relationship. There have been several family arguments, not with me in, but still a little bit stressful, trying to help with those. And despite all of this, I haven't been acting out. And bizarrely, men I meet tend to act me out all the time. And my physical appearance has barely changed. So it's really about the energy that I'm putting out there. The love energy draws love to you. And it is the key to unlocking and changing and breaking free from emotional eating. That is why I get a little bit frustrated with all of these diet plans, all of these exercise plans, because none of them talk about self-love and the power of love to change your life and to change your eating behaviours. And it really, really is the key. My fears of financial insecurity began to disappear when I became love and when I focused on being loving. And I'm attracting in more people to help, which is my main mission. My life purpose is to help people to become free of this. It's my dream, it's my mission, and I get to do that. Financial fear, as I've mentioned in another episode, was my greatest worry that caused me to starve myself or to comfort eat. And I no longer do that. New friendships with wonderful people keep forming. I'm attracting in loving and happy people into my life, whereas before, when I was eating and having these problems with my eating, I was really attracting in other people that were suffering and negative circumstances, especially in the dating arena. And most importantly, I have absolutely unconditional love for myself, which was a huge step, because for years and years I said to myself that I couldn't love myself if I was fat. I said to myself that I couldn't love myself if I was a certain weight. And now I just love myself. Who gives... Well, I won't finish that sentence, but I guess you know what I was probably going to say. It's like living in total bliss. And I learned that the only way to live a full life and to be truly free from compulsive eating and compulsive food behaviours is to awaken your love energy. When I awakened my love energy, my inner food critic stopped. I had peace. Without a day having to be stressed or angry about food, it's just the biggest gift I could ever have. And all that comes down to is love. Without a doubt, to this day, it's the single biggest thing that has changed my life and turned my life from dull to bright. It's got me out of the darkness that I was living in. So why am I sharing this with you? Well, I want you to know that you have love inside of you. We all are born as love. If you think about it, as babies, we are born perfect. We don't criticize ourselves or judge ourselves. We are just perfect. And we have so much love inside of us. And it's only when we listen to adults' fears and adults' judgments that we start to think that we are not perfect, that we start to think that we are not lovable. You know, babies love everything about themselves. They eat their own feet. They love their own feces. And this is how we were born. And so it's taking you back to the love that you had inside of you when you were born. We all have this love inside of us. Love is on tap. We just need to remove the barriers to love and turn it on full blast. Barriers to love are things like fear, not feeling good enough, caring what other people say, believing that we have to suffer alone, grief, unprocessed grief, losing someone, losing something can also trigger us to be away from love, as well as anger and resentment towards someone else or towards life itself. All of this blocks love. And that's why when I work with people, I love to help them clear all of this stuff. Whether it's fear, resentment, anger, self-hate, not feeling good enough. What is in your way of love? Because what is in your way of love is in your way of freeing yourself from your eating patterns. And if you want to learn more about how to turn on the love, if you want to learn about how to love yourself and love your body and love life, if you want to learn how to get rid of these barriers, to push right through them, then join me in a peaceful eating session. I'm not sure how long I'm going to be able to carry on because my diary is becoming fuller and fuller, offering these 3 30-minute sessions. But I do have a little bit of space right now, and I don't have a waiting list at the moment. I did have a waiting list going back a few weeks ago, but the waiting list have now cleared. So there is space at the moment, so make sure that you do, if this calls to you, and if you feel like I would love to learn more about tapping into love to change my eating patterns, then get in touch with me. And if you're listening thinking to me, Nicola, you sound a bit crazy, and this is just a load of rubbish, how can love change anything? I totally get that too. And if you want to have a call with me and you want to discuss it because you don't believe it and I can give you some science behind it, then I'd be happy to do that as well. You see, a lot of people think, well, if I don't believe it, then perhaps I can't get help. And actually, the program that I run works even if you don't believe it. Even if you're the biggest skeptic, because I used to be the biggest skeptic. I used to be weary of people that said that they could help me. And that's why I spent thousands and thousands of dollars on loads of training courses and trained in NLP, hypnotherapy, the journey, cellular healing, addiction coaching, grief and loss support, relationship counselling, yoga, meditation therapy, and so much more. All on how to become free. And I really have found that tapping into love is by far the best way to do it. But self-love is more about exercising a few times a week. It's more about eating the right food. Self-love is more than going to the salon and having a haircut or buying yourself a nice new top. It's about feeling and vibrating love from the inside out. As you can tell, I'm so passionate about this, and I would love to share more with you. So book a call with me if you feel inside right now you'd like to